Step one, wake up early, gonna rise with the sun. Step two, get some good, some food in you. Step three, think real hard about what you wanna be. Step four, everybody just do your thing.
Wake up, today's gonna be a good day. 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 Wake up, today's gonna be a good day.
Good morning, and welcome to Good Morning Crypto, where we turn your early hours in the morning into your edge and financial freedom. Today, I've got a big headline on World Liberty Financial selling some ENA. But what isn't in that headline is what else they sold, which I think is way more important than their small selling off of ENA. So we'll dive on into that one after we get you prepped for some success today. I got that stock heat map pulled up like always, and let's get this day rolling. We got Apple sitting up 1.37 from yesterday, looking quite neutral in the pre-market so far, up 0.09. We've got Nvidia sitting down 0.59. In the pre-market, getting hit a little hard right now, down 0.94. We got Berkshire Hathaway sitting up 0.57. In the pre-market, looking quite neutral, up 0.21. We've got Amazon up 1.21 off of its close yesterday, sitting quite neutral this morning, down 0.08. We've got Eli Lilly sitting down 1.45 from its close, sitting up 0.23 in the pre-market right now, so also looking quite neutral. We've got ExxonMobil up 0.68 in the pre-market, looking quite neutral, up 0.02. We've got Tesla sitting up 3.5 from its close yesterday, getting hit a little hard in that pre-market so far, down 1.32. We got P&G sitting down 1.69 off of its close, sitting quite neutral in the pre-market so far, down 0.08. We got Microsoft sitting up 0.53 from its close. In the pre-market, looking quite neutral as well, down 0.11. Got Google sitting up 1.68, sitting down in the pre-market, down 0.52. And we've got Meta sitting up 1.21 off of its close, looking quite neutral in the pre-market as well, sitting up 0.13. Let's hop over to the crypto side of things. We've got very green bubbles on this daily. We've got one big red bubble here with Pi sitting down at 10.5%. We got Bitcoin sitting up 1.2, Ethereum sitting very neutral on that daily with a 0% and no change. Got XRP up 1%. We've got BNB sitting down a 1.2, Solana up 1.9. We've got Dogecoin up a whopping 10.3%. We've got Cardano up 1.5, Tron up 1.1. We got Chainlink up 3.5. Avalanche up 3.6. We got Stellar Lumens up 2.4. We've got Shiba Inu up a whopping 15.5%. So seeing some memes really run. We've got Leo up 0.3%. Ton sitting down 1%. We've got HBAR up 1.1. Sui up 7.5. We've got Litecoin up 3.2. And Polkadot up 1.9. Looks like OM has down a few positions and lost that number 20 spot. Let's hop over to that fear and greed. We got the stock side still sitting in fear, up a point from yesterday. We got crypto back in neutral, up a point from yesterday, as we're approaching a very key area on the charts. We'll kind of have to see if we reject lower to grab some of that bottom side liquidity after we scoop up some of that top side liquidity that's still residing at that area we were talking about yesterday. Got that nice hot spot on this daily sitting at 88,900 and ranges all the way down to that 88,700 range. So a bit of a hot spot directly to the top side of us on that 24-hour, which would be a very quick grab before we see our data drop this morning. We also have some hot spots sitting to the bottom side of us if you start zooming out. This 3-day also has that hot spot directly to the top side, sitting under 90,000, which I have been talking about as going to grab before we really start looking at some of that bottom side liquidity. Zoom that on out to the 2-week, and you can kind of see where that bottom side liquidity is still residing. We've still got that hot spot on that 2-week directly to the top side of us. So it is on all of these time frames, and it would be a very easy grab for the market makers to make with a quick move to the upside before we start looking at some of that bottom side liquidity. You do have all of these hot spots to the bottom side at 83. We have some at 80,000 as well. Zoom that on out to the 3-month, and that's where you can see there is a lot of liquidity still residing right below us, which those market makers have left open. You do have a light hot spot back at that $100,000 mark. I think we probably clear out some of that bottom side liquidity before we really go back up to the top. I've been talking about that for a while, and we can kind of see if we turn this next key area into support. If we do turn it into some support, I do think we leave that open for now, and we just come back and grab it in the bear market. Let's hop over to that economic calendar and talk about that data drop that we're going to be seeing this morning. We do have some housing data that is coming out here shortly at 7 a.m. Eastern time. Looking for a bit of a slowdown on some of this data. We're also going to get the durable goods orders for month over month, and is looking like a massive slowdown on durable goods orders. We do see a bit of an increase from 0% to 0.2% on that month over month, excluding transportation. But the durable goods orders month over month, including the transportation, has a massive slowdown. We have a massive slowdown on non-defense goods orders as well, from 0.8% to 0.2%. So looking like a giant slowdown on the durable goods orders in general. We'll kind of have to keep our eye out. That is going to be an 8:30 data drop. We also have a few Feds speaking this morning, 10 a.m. and 10:10. We will have 2 Feds speaking, and we get our crude oil information at 10:30. Some big data drops for the morning. I will definitely be keeping my eye on that 8:30 data drop. You do have the Bank of Canada with a summary of their minutes from this past week, this past month. And I'll be keeping my eye out on that, as well, especially going forward. We should be seeing some tariffs coming on Canada going into next month. So these minutes will be quite important to kind of see how the Bank of Canada will be stancing themselves going forward if those tariffs actually go into effect. Let's say good morning to the chat as we pull up that Bitcoin chart. We've got Uncle Jesse in here. As always, good morning to you, or good afternoon, sir. We got Moonbags in the chat. Good morning, good morning. We got Jay Quick Smoker saying good morning. He says, hope everyone's been along. I have not been trading because I've been sleeping. So, yeah, missed out on some of that. I haven't really been trading. I've just been accumulating my hodl bags and sitting on the sidelines. I've been very busy with work. We got Alexandra G saying good morning, everyone. Good morning to you, Mod Queen. Hope you're having a great morning so far, getting that caffeine in. We got Jeffrey Stone Cipher in the chat. Good morning to you. And we got Jay Quick Smoker saying good morning from Australia. Well, good evening to you. We got Joel Vasquez asking, what is ENA? It's an alt project that World Liberty Financial has been stocking up on. They've got a big partnership with I'm not sure who it is, but one of the people that they're friends with is very close with that project. So they ended up buying some ENA. I'm not exactly sure what it does. I don't follow a lot of these alt projects, but it is a fairly big holding in their bags, and we will dive on into that one. I might have to actually do a deep dive into ENA. I'm sure someone here might know what it is, but I might have to do a little bit of a show on ENA and see exactly what it is, because they hold quite a bit of ENA. We've got Adam D saying good morning, early birds. Good morning to you. And I see a Moho in the chat as well. Good morning, Moho. Hope you're having a great morning so far. Let's dive into this Bitcoin chart. We've got this pulled up on the daily, and as you can see, we are continuing to the upside on a lot of these oscillators, but we've got very strong resistance right above us sitting at 90,800, and we've got a lot of liquidity residing right above this wick from the other day. Let's get my demonstration tool pulled up, and you can kind of see there's a lot of liquidity in this zone right above us. That'd be that easy grab that I'd be looking for, and I've been looking for this week. We do have that being an area right below our resistance where we could try to create some support here before we really try to get up to this key area on our higher term time frame. I'd be looking for a bit of a rejection off of this point to try to turn this 382 into some strong support here. We also have that hot spot sitting right back here at that 85,300 mark, which is that last key area, which we really moved quite quickly through and have left open to turn back into some support. We do have us getting a little bit hot on this prime oscillator as our true 7 is turning green here, and we're looking for that to start clipping. Your money flow is still coming out on the daily, but your volume is continuing to be some buying volume here. So looking to potentially make another lower high unless we can really break above that 90,800 with some quick momentum and turn that into some support. Let's zoom that on in to the 4 hour, see what we're looking at there. As you can kind of see, we are looking very toppy here on the MACD as we're getting that curvature back towards our indicator line also getting that curvature back to the downside, printing very small green candles here as we've broken above that 382. Looking like we might just grab that top side liquidity for now and continue back down here to turn that 145 into some support there to really have some strength and have this money flow on our 4 hour bleed over into that daily. We're looking for that switch of money flow on that daily term time frame from selling to buying as we've started to see that volume switch over to some buying volume on that daily. Buying volume looking quite strong here on that 4 hour, and we're seeing a bit of a slow up here on the money flow, but looking for that to hold a little bit steady here. That would give us that nice strong bounce off of this key level below us to really push back up to the upside. Let's zoom this on in to that 1 hour, see what the day might be bringing our way here. You have that prime oscillator switching back to the green as we're trying to maintain some green money flow here, but you do have a lot of selling volume that is kind of trying to overpower some of that buying pressure here. So we're having a very strong battle between bears and bulls at this 382, looking to try to see if we can turn this into some support and push back up to the upside here. You have some nice indicators on the weekly chart that you might continue to see an upside move if we cool those oscillators off just a little bit more here. MACD running quite sideways as we're getting very small red and green candles here. So seeing a very strong battle in this range between the bears and the bulls to try to see which liquidity we're going to grab after we grab the top side liquidity that is sitting right above us in this zone here. Zoom that on in to the 15-minute, see what the morning is bringing our way. And it does look like we're going to get a retest of some lower levels here. We're seeing that prime oscillator getting that curvature back over as our money flow is quite red here, and the selling volume is not doing much to push us back to the upside. So looking for a small bounce back at this 382 to try to get that push back to the upside here. That would be kind of what I'd look at for the morning, and the liquidity that is residing right above this wick here starts about 89,000, and it's a very quick grab if we cool that oscillator off just a little bit. We also have a bit of an area right below that where we could double bottom out at about 87,200 to see that continuation to the upside. So a bit of a range here below that 382, which would be an easy bouncing zone. All right, I see Biz Knowledge saying, I highly doubt we see 85 again. Uncle Jesse saying ENA is Athena. All right. Well, I'm not exactly sure what Athena does, so I'll have to look into that one a little more. I don't really focus a whole lot on those alt projects. You know, I'm a Bitcoin maxi at my core, so I like to buy my Bitcoin, and I don't focus a lot on alts anymore. I did last cycle. Alts made me a lot of money, but that alt market is very, very oversaturated. We got, is Athena price at risk? Trump's World Liberty Financial sells 184,000 ENA, sparking concerns. Despite Athena's price exceeding weekly gains to over 7% this Tuesday, Donald Trump's World Liberty Financial has rattled the crypto market with its ENA sell-off spree. On-chain statistics indicated that World Liberty Financial sold a whopping 184,000 tokens intraday, reverberating a bearish sentiment among crypto traders and investors globally. In the wake of a massive token unlocks and a dump by a market maker previously, the synthetic dollar protocol built on Ethereum already remains subject to volatility. Now, market watchers bearishly speculate over the asset's future trajectory due to a rise of selling pressure. Is Athena price bracing for heat amid Trump's World Liberty Financial sell-off? Unusual market sentiments remain highly negative in light of heightened selling pressure on cryptocurrencies. The latest data from Arkham Intelligence indicated that World Liberty Financial sold 184,000 ENA for $69,000 over the past day. The sell-off chronicle sparked concerns over Athena's price action, long-term prospects, underlying a spike in selling pressure, and World Liberty Financial's loss of interest in the asset amid broader trends. Notably, the Trump family-backed firm purchased 11 tokens earlier, including the one mentioned above, via its World Liberty Financial Institution sale funds. Intriguingly, since most of these assets were soon shifted to Coinbase Prime, the market had an unclear view of sell-off transactions. However, a part of ENA holdings were transferred to the OX76A custodial wallet address. This wallet shifted 180,000 tokens to the address OX77A. Subsequently, this address then sold the amount received for WBTC per the data. So it looks like World Liberty Financial is de-risking on a lot of their alts right now. I've got their portfolio pulled up, and as you can see here, they not only sold 184,000 ENA, they sold off all of their Link holdings and all of their Aave holdings as well, which was not in this article at all. And I think that bodes a little more for that de-risking than their small holding of ENA. They still hold quite a bit of ENA. As you can see here, they hold 5.7 million ENA still. So just a small sell-off of ENA, but they sold off all of their Aave and all of their Link. So de-risking just a little bit for some wrapped Bitcoin here, which is looking for that more safe play, especially with how the alt market has been performing, I don't think that's a bad move. Bitcoin for the long term, if you want to make it, is that smart move to make. As you can kind of see here, they are sitting in an area where they've been moving quite sideways in their portfolio, and a lot of that has to do with the alts here. They're moving back from profit to losses to profit to losses as they move quite sideways under that $100 million range. Even at their highs, they were still in the negative here. So looking at that de-risking on their alts and buying some more Bitcoin here. So not a bad move by World Liberty Financial. We also got Trump looking to make a stable coin here. This was the big news from the other day. We'll dive into this article. We got President Donald Trump's crypto empire is expanding with recent announcements of a new dollar-backed stablecoin and investment funds for digital assets. The moves are the latest in the norm-defying ways the president has leaned into crypto projects that could significantly boost his personal wealth while in office. World Liberty Financial, a currency venture Trump helped launch last year, announced Tuesday that it plans to launch USD1, a stablecoin pegged at a 1-to-1 ratio with the US dollar. Stablecoins are among the fastest growing segment of the cryptocurrency industry, and they are typically backed by government issued currency like the dollar or to gold, making them better suited for commercial transactions than the more volatile digital assets like Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. We're offering a digital dollar stablecoin that sovereign investors and major institutions can confidently integrate into their strategies for seamless and secure cross-border transactions, said Zach Witkoff, a World Liberty Financial co-founder, said in a statement Tuesday. World Liberty Financial announced comes among a push by Congress with strong support by the White House to pass legislation that supporters say would make it easier for stablecoin companies to operate and grow within the U.S. We've also been looking at some bank legislation as well, which would allow these banks to hold cryptocurrency for their users. And this also allows them to kind of have that dollar transaction where it's like, hey, I want to cash out of this project, and your bank now can use that stable coin an alternative to the dollar. So you don't actually have to cash out into fiat, and you still have your digital asset being pegged to the dollar. It looks like they're pairing with BitGo to make that stable coin there. Anybody have any alt requests they'd like me to take a look at this morning? I have plenty of time. Those were some very quick reads of some news articles, but I know we'll be doing a deep dive onto that stable coin with crypto coin mindset for next week. We've already talked about doing a whole show on stable coins, so I will drop his link in the chat. Especially since we've been seeing a lot of legislation pushing towards stable coins and seeing the banking industry taking a step forward on those stable coins as well. So we'll do a very deep dive on his channel there. Any alt requests, go ahead and drop them in the chat, and I'll take a look at that after we get through some of these TradFi assets I love to take a look at. We got gold here, sitting at a crucial point on the 4-hour, trying to maintain our zero line here as that MACD is getting that curvature back to the upside. Just watched our prime oscillator flip from red to green here as we're starting to get that curvature back up as well. Waiting for that volume to switch from some selling volume to some buying volume as our money flow is maintaining very nicely here above that zero line. So as we've approached this key area I was talking about needing to turn into some support here, I'd look for an upside target at that golden pocket. might see a little bit of a rejection off of that 50% line once we get above this key area, and then a bounce to the upside. I talked about that yesterday, and that's right where we're sitting here. We've got a very strong bounce off of our 382 on our Fibonacci extension as you try to get back above this resistance area. You do have that 50% being a strong resistance area as well. And that's where I'd look for our next move and bounce from. You do have these candles moving red to green to red to green here on our MACD as you try to really cool off this oscillator and wait for money flow here on this shorter term time frame. You see a bit of some selling pressure coming in, but your volume's maintaining very nicely here. So looking for a short term cool off on these oscillators to really have that money flow coming back in. Looking for that upside target at the golden pocket. If we can really see this money flow on the 15-minute move over to that 1 hour and see that 4 hour really get that boost back to the upside. 15 minutes sitting at that crucial point as well as the prime oscillators got that curvature back to the upside. And that MACD line is trying to break back above our 0 line and that indicator line, which is getting that curvature above 0. So looking for that top side target of the golden pocket after we turn this area into some support here. We did have the Dixie as well, making a push back to the upside of our 1 line on our fib extension. Let's zoom that back out to the 4 hour so you can kind of see where we're sitting here. We are sitting at a very crucial point on the Dixie as well, getting some slight curvature, looking for a break back to the upside of our indicator line as our prime oscillator switch from red to light red here and is getting that curvature back to the upside as well. You have a lot of buying volume on the Dixie as markets aren't seeing these tariffs as an overwhelmingly negative thing. We've got a lot of room to run to the upside here. If you have these oscillators switch back to bullish, you've got a bit of a upside target, which would be some resistance sitting at about 105.40, and that'd be that first little area I would look for a rejection from to try to make some support back here at our lower levels where we've been doing a lot of battle. We got the Dusty Hunt in here saying good morning peeps. We got Duality C saying good morning. He said PHNIX if you have some time. Haven't heard of that project before, but definitely have some time for that one. I swear BC get earlier every day. No, same time. It's that 5:30 time for me. I know that's 6:30 on the East Coast there, but I know it used to be at that nice 6 o'clock time frame for me and 7 o'clock on the East Coast. So we have moved back just a little bit, but I went back to work, so I had to push the show back to the old time that it used to be at. We got PHNIX. All right. If there's an exchange you'd like me to look at that on, go ahead and let me know. I can definitely do that for you. Get you the best information that you're wanting. We got the Dusty Hunt in here saying good morning, peeps. Good morning to you. Hope you're getting that caffeine in. We got Not in the chat saying, hey, matey, looking forward to your session. Good morning to you, Not. Hope you're having a great day. I'm not seeing any other alt requests, but we will dive into a few other assets I was looking at this morning. I've been watching that US dollar JPY pair after we got that news from the Bank of Japan, and they were looking for a bit of some rate hikes later in the year. We've been seeing a rejection off of this key area I was watching. That was 151 for that US dollar JPY pair, and it looks like we're trying to maintain this 149.97 here. We did see a brief wicking action below it, and it looks like we might lose that here as the prime oscillator and the MACD are both sitting at a bearish point. The MACD just broke below that indicator line on the top side, starting to print some red candles here, and that MACD, that prime oscillator, is getting that curvature back to the downside as it's switched from light red to heavy red, seeing a bit of some selling volume as well, and money flow looking to roll over here. So potential for another retest back here at that golden pocket. If we do break below that golden pocket at 147, you might see some of that US dollars flowing back into the Japanese market. I will kind of keep my eye on that, and if we get back to that golden pocket, I will most definitely let y'all know, especially since that does have some bearish sentiments for the US markets. We have been seeing Tesla make a push back towards our resistance line here. This daily chart sitting at a bit of a bullish cross here on the MACD, as we've got a switch here of money flow looking to come back in as our volume is starting to increase, and a switch from heavy red to light red here. So a potential for a retest of our trend line and back up at that 320 mark where we saw our last CME gap. We have made it back to the top of the CME gap here and looking for a continuation to the upside. Pre-market looking to test the top of that old CME gap and really push back to the upside here. So Tesla looking a little bit bullish on the daily. We've got that 1 hour looking like it's got plenty of room to run to the upside, as we just saw a nice little cool off here of our prime oscillator, and MACD looking like it's getting that curvature back to the upside here as we've started to print some heavy green candles all over again. Got nice money flow, nice volume, and that prime oscillator curving back to the upside. So looking for that 50% to that old CME gap to the top side. That'd be a bit of a range at about 316 to about 320, where I'd start looking for us to slow down on Tesla. Looking quite bullish for now, though. We do have that single alt request, and I'm not seeing any other ones. We see the Dusty Hunt saying good morning to Jeffrey. Continue. Plan looks interesting. I'm not sure if that's an alt request there, but if it is, I can take a look at it. Didn't have any other really TradFi assets I was looking at besides the S&P 500, as we've got back to our zero line here on our fib extension, looking for a break back towards our old CME gap here. Actually, fair value gap there, sitting at the 236. Let's zoom that on out towards a higher term time frame. See what we're looking at on the 4 hour there. There we go. Actually, it was an old CME gap, and it's closed. So let's make that black so we know it's closed there. All right, looking for a little bit of a retest here on our zero line to push back up towards that 236 and our old CME gap here. You've got this daily looking like it's trying to switch from bearish to bullish as the MACD line is approaching that zero line, and we've got the indicator line heading back to the upside as well. Got a little bit of a reversal signal here on your prime oscillator. Money flow looking quite red here and has been red for quite a while, as you can see. Been red through all of this, so looking for that switch back to the green here. True 7 getting to the green as well, so looking for that break back into our Fibonacci extension here. We got French Toaster in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you are having a great day. Let's zoom that on into the hourly, and as you can see here, we're looking for that retest of our zero line. And that's where the prime oscillator looking for a little bit of a cool off, but that MACD looking like you might get a bounce off of this indicator line as we're both moving sideways. Will really depend on the data drops for the morning. If you do see that being overwhelmingly negative on those durable goods orders that I had talked about at the beginning of the show, you might see that break back down into our CME gap that we just made here on the way to the upside. That'd be this range here at 566 and going all the way up to 517 that I'd look for us to retest if we do see very, very bearish durable goods orders, and that midline being that 5,694, so almost 5,700 be that a very strong area where we could see a continuation bounce from. All right, we had a PHNIX requested, so let's see if we can find that. There was not an exchange that was said, so PHNIX. Oop. Oh, there we go. We've got that. Let's take a look at it on this chart here. Got it moving quite sideways, looking like it's maintaining sideways movement like a lot of these alts here. Zooming on out a little bit further. Looking like it might have finally made its bottom there. Let's get this current range Fibonacci pulled up and see where we're sitting on the chart. Looking like you might see a bit of a cross here of our MACD line to the top side of our indicator line, as we're seeing that prime oscillator also getting that curve back to the upside on our daily. So if we can start having some money flow come in with this volume being quite green, could see that push back to the upside here. We're sitting right at that 382. We got a strong bounce off of that golden pocket and looking to make a higher high here. We got K Diggity saying, lurking, playing over my radio. Good morning to you, K Diggity. Hope you're driving safe there. I appreciate you saying something this morning. I'm glad you get to watch the show. I know it was a little bit difficult back when I was at that other time. We got Crypto Billy in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great day. I got that redirect all set up. So after the show, we will be heading over to Crypto Billy and his morning motivational videos. So kind of glad that you switched that on over. I can send everyone directly over there after the show. We've got your prime oscillator and MACD both looking for some upside here on PHNIX. Got that light red here on our prime oscillator with very, very heavy green buying volume. Got your MACD looking to cross our indicator line here on that daily, which indicates a nice move to the upside. You do have a bit of some resistance right above us, though. If we can break out of this range, let me get that horizontal ray pulled up, and that would be 0.00045 would be that next little resistance area I would look for if we can get out of this fib range. Let's zoom this on in to that hourly, see what we're looking at there. Hourly also looking a little bit bullish here. We've got that curvature back on our prime oscillator and MACD. MACD looking to hit a cross of our indicator line above our zero line as we're waiting on this slow up of selling volume and waiting for that money flow to come back in. You have your true 7, which has clipped here and is headed back to the upside as well. So if we can get back above this 382, have that as some strong support, you've got a bit of a resistance area directly to the top side of that 236. That's going to be 0.0028 and all the way up to about 0.00003. Very strong resistance area right above that 382 there was the resistance area here as well, and you've got a lot of liquidity residing right above that with this heavy order block here. Let me get that drawn out for you with a rectangle to see where that resistance area is. Let me make that red there so you can kind of see it a little bit better. So on a shorter term time frame, this would be that selling pressure zone I would kind of look at. If we can get back above that, turn this whole area into some support, there's a very heavy order block right above that. So that'd be that next area I would look for on this project here. Looking like a potential for some upside here on the hourly and that daily term time frame. So just waiting to see if the short term time frame can really have that selling volume switch back to green, which looks like it's in the process of doing right now, and seeing if we can get that money flow to really bleed over from that short-term time frame into our higher term time frames. Seeing that on a lot of these alt projects and Bitcoin as well. So I'm curious about the Premier, Billy. We got Donato Cabrera in the chat saying good morning, good morning. Hope you are having a great morning so far. All right, I'm not seeing any other alt requests, so let's just take a look at something random here. I know Solana has been doing quite a bit, and we talked about that the other day. So let's get Solana pulled up. Any other alt requests, go ahead and drop those in the chat for me. I talked about us making a pushback up to our 50% fib, and that's exactly what we did the other day. Let's get that 4-hour pulled up, and as you can see here, we've got a lot of selling pressure right at this 50% fib line. You've got your MACD moving quite sideways here, printing lighter green candles here as it's looking for that first red candles to start printing on the 4-hour. You have your prime oscillator also sitting quite red here as your money flow is waffling around quite a bit. You do have your true 7, which is breaking to the downside. Your volume's holding quite steady here. So looking to try to maintain this 382 below us if we reject off of that 50% fib. That's that first rejection area I would really look for. If we can get to the top side of it, you do have a bit of a resistance area right above that where we see these very equal candles here at about 151. That'd be that next little area to the top side I would look for to see if we can turn back into some support. We did reject very heavily off of that and we're unable to get back up to it before we really lost all of these levels here. So 50% looking like you might see a slight rejection here as we try to cool off these higher term time frame oscillators. Got your 1 hour at a very indecisive point as we've broken that indicator line, moving quite sideways, printing a very small green candle here on the MACD, sitting heavy green for now, waiting on that prime oscillator really switch back to the green here on that hourly, with your money flow slowing down and your volume slowing down as well. So looking like you're seeing a bit of some exhaustion here at this 50% fib line. Let's zoom that on in to the 15-minute, see what the morning is bringing our way. Looking a little bit exhausted here as well. So seeing that MACD and indicator line both get that curvature as we've slowed down quite a bit on these candles, getting that prime oscillator switching back from red to light red here, but it's looking like that money flow and volume are rolling over just a bit here on that 15-minute. So looking for a strong bounce back here at that 382 after we reject off of that 50% fib line here. We do have some very heavy data coming out at 8:30 Eastern time, so that might be that catalyst for the downside. Got Al Jr. in the chat. Good morning to you. I hope you're having a great day so far. I was looking at ADA the other day, and we had talked about pushing back to that 76 cent range. You can see we've created a bit of an order block here as we got back into this zone here. I did have a zone marked out between 80 cents and 76 cents that I was looking for ENA to push back into. Looking like you've got that prime oscillator getting that curvature back to the upside and switching to light red here as the MACD is also getting that curvature back to the upside as well. So looking for a little bit of a rejection in this range here. You have plenty of volume up at that 80 cent range. Let's zoom that on out to the 4-hour, see where that range would be. Looking for a rejection in the middle of that, around that 79 cent range. That would be that first real area I would look at where you saw lots of support right below that 80 cent mark. That would be a shorter term time frame look. You do have your prime oscillator getting back to green here as it cooled off. You've got plenty of buying volume here. True 7 staying green and curving back to the upside. MACD's got plenty of width from that indicator line as it's pushing to the upside here. So looking for that short-term time frame to really bleed over into the higher-term time frame. Hourly looking a little bit toppy as we broke above that 76 point. So that's where I'd look for a retest and continuation to the upside here. Got your prime oscillator sitting still green as we're breaking above that there. MACD printing very green candles, but getting some sideways movement there. So looking for a little bit of a cool off here on the oscillators as our volume is some selling volume, but it is not heavy selling volume. Just like a lot of these other assets, waiting for that short-term time frame to bleed over into the high-term time frame. That was what we were looking for yesterday, and we got that quite nicely, and then it got that push back up to our 77-cent zone. All right, not seeing any other alt requests. We got Al Jr. saying good morning to Jesse. We got Donato saying good morning to everyone. Let's see, we got Al Jr. saying good morning to Billy. Not seeing any other alt requests, so let's dive into one of my favorites here. We got on my favorite list, all the way down here, got Near. I like Near quite a lot, and we're pushing back up to an area I would like to see us hold. Looking like it's going to be a resistance area now. So let's get that switch from green to red here so we know that it's resistance. This was a long-standing support line, which we've now broken below. We did a lot of battle at $2.78, which was an area I was looking at us holding. We did not end up holding it. Came all the way back down to the platinum pocket there as we push back up to the $3.07 range. We are looking at a bit of an order block, so creating some liquidity, a liquidity zone as we're trying to get back to the upside here. Zoom that on out to the 4-hour, see where we're sitting on that high term time frame and see what we're looking at. Got that MACD getting that curvature back to the downside, so looking like you might retest some of these lower levels here. Got that prime oscillator switching to red here as well, but your true 7 is looking like it's about to clip out here as you've got heavy buying volume. So I'd look for a retest of our lower levels. We got that $2.97 where we got these very equal candle bodies. Let's get rid of that one. And this would be that short-term bounce zone I would look for to try to get back up to that $3.07 with that 4-hour. We do have that 15-minute and the morning looking like it's a little bit exhausted here. As we've moved quite sideways, we're seeing a nice cool off of our oscillators. switching from a red to light red here, but your volume slowing up a bit, and your true 7 just went from green to red here. So looking for a little bit more downside, and that's that $2.97 range I would really look for as we're printing red candles here. Your MACD line just rejected off of our indicator line and is looking for a little bit more downside, but you do have plenty of green volume here that I'd look for an upside on. We got a French Toaster saying great X space last night. I missed out on it. I'm an early riser, so that means I'm early to bed. But if you want to drop that link in the chat for people, so that they can, if they're an early riser like me and early to bed like me, they can go ahead and check that out today. I know we'll be heading over to Alexo Crypto at the 8 a.m. So give them a little bit of a teaser of it before they slide over to Alexo Crypto. I'm not seeing any other alt requests, so let's hop into another one of my favorites. We got Injective on my list. Injective is sitting at right above that key area of resistance. That is now back into some support here. Zoom that on out towards our 4 hour and see where we're sitting there. We've got a bit of a zone to the top side here where we'd be looking at creating into some support, but your MACD and your prime oscillator looking like you've got a little bit of an exhaustion here on the 4 hour. Waiting to see if we can turn this $11.45 into some short-term support before we really try to get back up to that $12.54 range. Let's zoom that on in to the hourly, see what the day is bringing our way here. And this is where you're starting to also see that exhaustion. You've got your MACD line moving a little bit sideways here, printing very green candles, but you've got some selling volume here as your prime oscillator is getting a bit of some curvature, so might see that retest of $10 before we really get back up to that $11.47 range. Thank you for sharing that in the chat with me, Crypto Billy. I'm gonna pull that up in the background and do a little bit of listening on that. Appreciate you. Who knows where to buy a Gronk 7 token on pre-sales? I'm sure that's just a bot there. I'm not even gonna bother looking at that. All right. Any other alt requests you'd like me to take a look at? I see Crypto Billy saying, thanks for ADA, BC. Not a problem. But I'd really look at that 80-cent zone being some strong resistance on ADA all over again, unless you see Bitcoin doing something drastically crazy. I did talk about clearing out that top side liquidity, and that would really push ADA back up to that 80-cent zone. All right, we got no other alt requests, so let's take a look at a random project here. Go all the way down to my list and let's take a look at IP. I talked about IP a while ago, and we're sitting back at a key level. We got that strong bounce off of $5.97, and we're looking back at that 236. Looking like that's a resistance zone for now, as your prime oscillator and MACD are starting to look bearish again. So seeing that bounce all over again at 597 would be a nice little area to look for. Got your MACD running quite sideways with our indicator line here, and your prime oscillator just switched from green to red as you printed a divergence. You've got nice green money flow here, which would be looking at maintaining here. Just gonna I'm gonna put that dude in timeout now. We've got 10 minutes left, so yeah, there we go. Thank you, Alexander G. You did that at the same time that I did. Well, There we go. We're not gonna take a look at that project there, but as Anthony Soprano says, it sounds so interesting with that NAS emoji there. We got the MACD looking like you could see that potential cross of our indicator line to the bottom side as your prime oscillator just switched from green to red here. So looking for a strong bounce to from the bottom side. Let's see what that 15-minute and the morning are bringing our way. Looking like you saw that reversal signal here on the 15-minute, but your prime oscillator still sitting red here as your true 7 has gotten extremely low and is just starting to clip here. So looking for money flow to really come back in. Your volume still very red selling volume, and your money flow is very red here as well. Looking at that red money flow, waiting for it to really switch back over to green. That would be that bouncing zone right to the bottom side. I would look for some strong money flow all over again. You can kind of see as soon as we get to that $5.97 zone, you see us really switching to some green money flow. We had that trying that green money flow coming in, trying to maintain that zone as well. So that's that short-term zone we're looking at holding here and getting a push back to the upside on. Haven't been at these levels in quite a while on IP, as it has been moving quite sideways just like everything else. But it's got a strong resistance right above us at the 236 there and $6.53. As you can kind of see, we've made very equal highs on these wicks, so looking to potentially take those out if we can get that strong momentum in here. It's a fairly new project, but it's got some great utility, so I do like IP. Gonna wind the show down now, as I didn't see any other alt requests. So I appreciate every single one of you for tuning in and showing up every morning, participating in the chat. I appreciate it every morning. That's why I do it. It makes it a lot of fun, and I love seeing all the names here. We got the morning motivational video here starting at in about 4 minutes, which you will redirect directly over to with Crypto Billy. So make sure to tune into that one. Get your days started out right after you get the alpha here at the Piper Academy. We also got Alex Crypto going live about 30 minutes from now. So make sure you drop those graduation caps in the chat when you head on over there. Let them know we sent you over there. And then tune into that morning market report at 10 a.m. for the breakdown of those durable goods orders we'll be getting at 8:30 Eastern Time. We also have the Trade Academy at 4 p.m. Eastern Time with Trade Intuition. He does a great job of breaking down those charts, breaking down his thought processes, which I think is even more important than breaking down those charts. If you don't know why you're breaking down the charts the way that you're breaking them down, then you're basically learning nothing. So if you want to learn, Trade Academy is a great place to do that. We got Redmond in the chat. Good morning to you. Hope you're having a great morning so far. I know it's extra early for you, but I appreciated talking with you yesterday, and I look forward to seeing you on Piper Academy a little bit later. And I totally forgot to tease it, but we will be doing a giveaway of the new Billy Goat Tales book on Friday. So on our Friday show, after the show, all you have to do is leave a comment, hashtag GiversGain, and we will be picking a winner on Monday from those comments. So make sure to tune into Friday and leave a little comment on the show afterwards. We've also got that OC Guys brand new show on the Piper Academy at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. Does a great job at breaking down charts the same way that Trade Intuition does. So if you miss out on that 4 p.m. Eastern Time, we got OC Guy at 7 p.m. Eastern. Go ahead and show him some love. He does a great job on the charts as well. And we got Markets After Dark with Lunar Beaches Crypto at 11 p.m. Make sure to tune into that one for all you late late night people. I know you have a lot of fun in those charts. So great places to learn at the Piper Academy, and looking like we've got a lot going on here as well, with Redman being a guest on today's show. So tune into that one, give them some love. Other than that, make sure to wake up, because today's going to be a good day.